All right, it's been a while, but we are back. My name is Pat Burnham. I am joined by Charles Fishbein, and this is the Osceolas Reeling Them In Recruiting Roundup. Our special guest today, we actually have two of them. Four-star 2024 safety prospect Jarvis Boatwright from Clearwater High School, and his head coach, Thor Joswiak, who I have known Thor since he was Jarvis's age. I was on staff at the University of South Florida when we signed Thor as an offensive line prospect. And first of all, guys, it was great to see both of you in February at FSU's Junior Day. And obviously, Thor, great to end up catching up with you that day. I hadn't seen you probably since the day we got let go in 2013. What year were you in college in 2013 when we got let go at South Florida?
So that was my redshirt sophomore year.
Okay, so you've been there 3 years.
Yep, I had 3 years with you guys and a couple with Taggart. So that was an interesting time in South Florida history. And as everybody knows, that place is going through some turnover. So hopefully we got a good coach in there now, and I think that we do. So, but yeah, what a crazy way, man. The football tree gets so big. So seeing you coming out of the stadium up there at Florida State was a treat. And I know with Jarvis, seeing that piece was big time too. So we appreciate you guys having us on today.
Well, listen, we appreciate you guys making the time. Jarvis, in particular, I know there's a lot of people that want a piece of your time. You're one of the most highly sought after safeties in all of America. So we're glad that Coach Joswiak had the good sense to bring you to Tallahassee that Saturday as opposed to anywhere else. But, Jarvis, just tell us a little bit about, I mean, we know we'll start talking about these other schools in a few minutes, but just tell us about how the recruiting process is going. It never slows down. Obviously, you've released the top 5, but just talk about how it's going and how it's been over the last month with the dead period.
The recruiting process has been good. Coaches reaching out to me every day. New coaches popping up. Just love from a lot of coaches. Just seeing how me being a player and how my skills and talent has set me so high, and being able to connect with coaches and seeing how the coaching can take me to a different level and soon get me to where I want to be.
Jarvis, you look at some of the great safeties that have played at Florida State. As recently as Derwin James. They had a very good safety that's leaving now. Who would you compare a pattern your game after? Maybe not even Florida State, but in general, who are some of the guys that you idolize and you'll pattern your game after as far as the safety prospect?
I like to watch J.C. Horn from Carolina Panthers. And when he was out South Carolina, I used to watch his highlights a lot. I like the way he played, physical, and can guard like the slot and basically do it all.
You watch when you turn on your film. The one thing that's very evident, you watch it. You have very good speed. You're one of the faster safeties I've watched on film. You can come from center field. Tell the fans a little bit about where that comes from and how it helps you overall in your game.
It comes from just him pushing me first off, and suicides, last minute, we got something called 4 quarters. You go side once, side twice, and you just got to push, and you got to keep the same speed. So side to sideline, really, he helps me with that. And just drills and just pushing myself, wanting to get the tackle, wanting to put somebody in the ground, really.
So, Jarvis, when was the first time you knew that you were pretty good at football?
I know I was pretty good in football after my first year of football, and I was at tight end my first year of football. Then I got a little better in the second year. They moved me to running back, and I got a ball and I took it 80 yards, and I was like, I could be pretty good at this.
How old were you?
8, 9.
All right, so for a while you had a chance to be pretty good. Now, Thor, when did I don't know how long you've been at Clearwater, but I'm assuming for the vast majority of Jarvis's career, I mean, obviously you were a fairly highly recruited football player in your own right. You played major college football. When did Jarvis start standing out to you, and what stood out about Jarvis as a football player?
Yeah, so this will be going in my 3rd year as the head coach, and I was here for 2 before that as O-line coach. So this will be my 5th year at Clearwater. So I've actually known Jarvis his whole career. When he first got here, we knew that he was a very good Little League running back, and Little League football around this area here in Clearwater football around the city. There's a lot of teams. We got the Greenwood team down there, and we knew he was a good running back. So on JV, he came in and he toted the rock for us, and then that was his primary position. And he would even travel with varsity. Didn't get as many totes as he probably wanted, but we knew that he was there was something special about him. Me and him sat down and we had a conversation, just knowing the game and knowing the recruiting process. There's not many 6'2", 6'2.5", 185-pound dudes walking around that runs a 4.3 40, and he had great covering skills out the gate. So, my message to him was, hey, Jarvis, I know you love running the ball, and he can. He has great vision, great speed. You can go check him out on his huddle. I mean, Countryside this past season toted the rock 7 times for 170 yards. He can tote the rock. But, running backs, and as you guys know, been in the game a long time, running backs, there's a lot of them out there, but there's not many true Division I safeties. So knowing that and seeing his skill set, knowing who he is, 3.95 in the classroom, safety's the leader of the defense in most schemes. So we had a conversation that we thought that having him at safety was the best for our team, but also a best and number one opportunity for him to continue his education and continue to be a student athlete wherever he decides to go. And it's come to fruition and worked out for him.
Coach, Fish here, I've covered this state for a long time. Hillsborough County gets a lot of credit. I always feel like where you're from, Pinellas County, is kind of underrated. And if you look, a lot of the high school kids that come from Pinellas County actually do better than a lot of the Hillsborough County. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to anyway. Why is it that guys like him kind of do go under the radar? Who would you compare him to some of the very good players you've seen come through Pinellas County?
Yeah, I don't know why that stigma is, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. One of my teammates just won a Super Bowl, played at Lakewood, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So, to know that he's from here, and there's so many, the twins that played at UCF, they're down from Lakewood. I mean, there's a lot of talent that comes out of this area. So I'm not sure as to why. I'm not sure as to what that is, but for Jarvis, he is his own player. If I had to compare him to, I don't even know who I would compare him to, because I think so highly of him as an athlete, as a student of the game, especially at this level. Coach Surtain, me and him talked when we were up there, and it's a different style. It's more of like an old school safety. What's that safety's name? The old safety from the Ravens. Ed Reed. I know he went to the U. All right, so I know we're talking up there, but he is that type of guy. Somebody that can turn and get to over the top and cover, but someone who is going to come downhill and he is going to stop the run at the highest level. And that's where that speed comes into play. And that's where, having the desire and the want to go run through somebody. So I would consider him a lot like Ed in a sense of being able to come downhill and tackle, but also having ball skills and be able to do everything else and be a overall great player. But to me, the difference with Jarvis, with most of the guys that are coming out, not everybody, but most of today's generation, is he still has that run stop capability where he's coming from a free safety or a strong safety. He's not scared to roll down into the box and hit somebody at the line of scrimmage if needed.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I watched this film, is that he literally comes from center field, and you see his speed and he runs through people, and that's something you just don't see that much anymore. I don't care if it's college, pro, high school, guys don't do that. He does have that old school mentality. I thought that's what really impressed me. Jarvis, we want to get into some of the recruiting stuff. Where do you stand as far as your recruitment, where you're at right now? Where have you visited? What schools do you like? And where does a school like Florida State stand in this process right now?
Florida State's pretty high. I like them. Like the visit, I visited before, and the visit was the same, but the second time it just it went over and above. The Coach Noville, His energy is always up. Like, I love a coach with energy. I don't want a coach that don't want to come and do his job. That's like me not wanting to come do my job and recruiting me for 4 years. But just, I love seeing a coach that want to do his job. That make me even want to do more as a player.
Now, one of those new things was, as you've already mentioned, Coach Surtain was added to the staff, I believe, right before you got there. I believe you were his first junior day. Kind of tell us what the relationship is like with him and obviously with Coach Norvell and what you like about what they're telling you about the program.
Coach Surtain, he's cool. He laid back. Like, he's one to lay back, but I know he'll get on you. And, like, he's a great player, too. He made it to the pros, and I love to be coached by somebody who knows what they're talking about and not just by another coach. But in all the college world, you're going to get coached by somebody who knows what they're talking about. But Coach Surtain, like, he, like, sat down with me, and he just, like, I even shocked him a little bit because he was like, what you want to do? I was like, I want to watch some film. And he was like, what? And he like, oh, I don't even got that yet. But he was just shocked, and I was like, yeah, I just want to watch some film, sit down and just talk with you, like, learn how you like your players and stuff.
He was hanging stuff on the wall trying to get fit in. And Jarvis like, Coach, can we watch some tape? And he's still getting familiar with the system. And we watched some stuff. But like I told Jarvis, just give him time. I'm sure it looks completely different. He's already settled in to rock and roll up there.
Yeah. Hey, now listen, you mentioned you like high energy coaches, right? Well, I'm pretty sure you play for one right now, based on what I remember about him as a player, as a freshman, redshirt freshman, and redshirt sophomore when he was at USF when I was there. And Thor always had more than enough energy for one person. Kind of what's it like to play for him, and kind of how's he helped you not only with recruiting but become a better player, and kind of what does he stay on you about? As you know, coaches always coach.
Well, Coach Thor, he don't got to say too much in the classroom because I kind of got my head set on that. But he just consistency pushes me to be consistent. I was on protein like sophomore year. I didn't take it as consistent as I should. But once I started getting consistent with it, I seen the gains and I was like, oh, this is serious. Like, I could really get big. And like now I've actually been taking it into accountability, and I got bigger and stuff. And like I see it. So like him just telling me and leading me, like, it just showed me a lot. Like, speculations with me going to other schools, him sitting down with me and just talking, like, don't have to trust me with the process, and like I trusted him. So just knowing he's a upbeat and real hype man, but he can get down and be real with you. And another segment.
Jarvis, you're one of the top players not only on your team but also the area and stuff. Tell us what type. Are you a vocal leader? Are you one of those guys that you kind of just want to let the other guys watch what you do and they follow? Tell us a little bit about that. What type of leader you feel you are, and how you impact the football team.
I feel like I'm a leader that shows people what to do, but like for the past few years, I've been like trying to be like in the shadow, like showing people what to do. But I feel like showing people what to do not always gonna like push them to do what they need to do, so they need to speak up some. So I think I'm gonna fall into being a vocal leader this year and talking to players, helping them out, technique wise, everything.
Yeah, and to add to that, coming into this season, Jarvis being a 4-star, he got that ranking, which is great. But getting invited to the Under Armour All-American game, being a preseason All-American, the work ethic speaks for itself. The work in the weight room, the work in the classroom, 0 tardies, always on time, 3.95 in the classroom. That piece is a high level already. But to then have those accolades on top of that when it comes to the game, that's huge. And those are the guys that you rely on to be the vocal leader, right? You're doing it the right way. And like I tell these guys, it's hard to be a leader. To be a true leader, you got to be living right in all aspects of what you're doing. Student athlete, you got to be living right in the classroom. You got to be on time. And then on the field, you have to have that piece as well. So he's done a great job of that. And my expectation for him is very high to be that vocal leader. But he says that he's been in the shadows. Friday night, he is a vocal leader. When you step onto that field, something switches. Throughout the week, he leads by example. But on the field on Friday night, something turns on. He steps in between those lines and he becomes almost a field general, and you hear him for the whole game. So that's big.
Yeah, Jarvis, you back in January, you kind of announced the top 5, and of course, I've been around this thing a long time. I know that sometimes those top 5 change from time to time, but you had Florida State, South Carolina, UCF, Tennessee, and Florida, all obviously really strong programs. Is there any commonality between them as far as why you're interested in those 5 schools? And can you briefly tell us why you like each of those 5?
I like each of those 5 because I met all 5 head coaches. First off, I want to know that a head coach knows of me, or just know that I'm known there. Not just I just went to the campus and visit and put on a full uniform. But I just want to know that the coach knows me. First off. Second off, the position coaches. I've sat down with all the position coaches and had time with them and realized I could picture myself here, and I like the school first off, and to be coached by this man and stuff. And another thing, I look in the future, the contracts, they're signed through 2029, some of them, but I have to go over it again. But I think most of the head coaches are going to be staying there for a while, but that's what I look into with those 5 schools.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Coach Norvell thinks if you sign at Florida State, he may get another extension. So I think that's probably one of the reasons they're recruiting you. Listen, a lot of we ask you a lot of football questions, but this gives fans a chance to get to know you a little bit more without your helmet on. A lot of times, you get considered a recruit or a prospect. But if you were not doing anything that was football related today, or athletics related, what would we find you doing? I mean, what are some of your favorite things to do away from the football field?
If I probably never picked up a football, I'll probably be home, probably studying right now or something, or just hanging out with my friends.
All right. Well, obviously, an honor student. Have you thought about what you might want to major in? I mean, you've got a lot of time, obviously, but do you have any academic interests that are, these top 2 or 3 things are what I'm thinking about right now?
Oh, yes. Physical therapy is my major, and I want to minor in entrepreneurship.
Okay. All right. Now, have you thought any more about when you're going to start taking your official visits prior to your senior year? You're going to do it in the summertime or the fall?
Yes, sir. The summer, right before fall season.
All right. And listen, obviously, I'm assuming you're going to sign in December early.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, it sounds like you got the grades to enroll early. Is that part of the plan as well?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
All right.
Jarvis, what do you think coming to a decision? Well, what will be the number one reason you choose a certain school in your opinion? Will it be, now you have the NIL involved? Is it going to be is it the place that you're living that you just like living there for the next 4 years? What's the number one reason in your mind do you think you'll be choosing one of those 5 schools?
Well, money is everywhere. Everybody run off money, so I don't want to go to a school because of money. So basically, I want to go to a school where I feel comfortable, and if my family not around, I know I'm comfortable. And if coaches were to leave, I know I could stay at this university and be great still, and not have to worry about a coach.
Now, you've obviously Coach Norvell talks a lot about fit, both on the field and off. What do you think makes Florida State a good fit for you, and vice versa?
I love the way they use their safety. They just don't make them a regular safety, because football is changing and evolving. You're not old school no more, but you can have an old school safety, but have a new school scheme, and that's what I like. They don't have one safety just sitting over top the whole game. You come down, you play linebacker a little bit, just make the game fun. I like how they do their playbook. And Coach Fuller, I love him. He's a great man. Intensity, wide, ready. I like him.
Now, are you coming back to watch spring ball this in March, or for the spring game?
Yes, I want to get up and watch a practice. I think I already have it set, but I don't know yet. But just going over it.
But you will be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thor, this spring, I know spring football is in May. Do you do any other sports? Do you run track or do any other sports that you do at the Clearwater High School?
So when I first took over as the head man, I was in with track. So being the head coach, Pinellas County, unfortunately doesn't support weightlifting as a FSHA sport, which I wish they did. We had that in Polk County, and to me, that was a very cool thing, especially to get most of your football team. You get them into weight training, and then, you do the pause press bench, you do clean and jerk. We just don't have that over here. So still try to stay involved. We have workouts weekly with our football players, and anybody that is throwing or running track. We had a lot of guys play basketball this past year. So, they get involved in other sports. And then when their sport ends, we're always going to be here working. I've tried to, and big shout out to my coaching staff too. AJ Sadinger's here. Every day we have workouts going through our speed and our hip mobility, getting these guys ready to roll. But, I've kind of tried to adopt it. And you guys know this, they're going through winter conditioning right now. So at the next level of this game for us, which is college, it is a 24/7, 365 grind. There's a phase of each part of the year. This first phase being winter conditioning, getting all of your weight room time, getting your conditioning ready for spring ball. Then you have your spring ball. Then you go right into summer conditioning, and then you start tuning up for a season. So at the end of the day, I always tell these guys, my whole staff, the players, our administration, you build the machine January to July. In the game of football, you have from the month of January until the end of July, and everything that you do in between is to get ready for a season come fall. So everything that we do, January, July, build the machine, and that's what the phase that we're in right now.
Well, Jarvis, what has been your favorite part of the recruiting process, and are you glad it's almost over?
My favorite is probably just getting out and looking at new campuses, seeing like a new atmosphere. Really, just seeing that like a coach is just so like pumped about me and like wild about me, and I don't know. I just thought I was like an average player, but to see like a coach so hyped up about me just helps me and builds my confidence, and just to be that it's over kind of like sucks, but at the same time it's like I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got a little bit further to go, but it's going to be real interesting to see how many more teams coming in and offer you, because you're obviously, as it's been well stated by Fish and by your coach there, that a heck of a prospect, and it is the world of football can open up a lot of avenues, and it certainly has for you. Now, tell us a little bit. I got a couple personal questions. All right, so if we were to grab your earbuds right now, what's on your playlist?
Right, William.
All right. Favorite actor or actress?
Probably Kevin Hart. Like comedians, I like to laugh.
All right. Favorite musician or band?
I don't really know no bands like that.
Okay. All right. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Just watched it.
Favorite movie? I don't know. What's the one movie I was talking about? Jim Brown, like that one.
Oh, what's the movie with Jim Brown, the running back, Syracuse?
Ernie Davis.
Ernie Davis, Express.
Yeah. Express. Yeah. All right. Favorite pro football team?
The Bucks.
All right. That's a good answer. All right. So now this was a little bit more loaded. College football team in Florida that you grew up cheering for the most?
Florida Gators.
All right. See, you can the good news is, Jarvis, you can outgrow that. That's the great thing about it. You're still young. Hey, by the way, Thor, talking about Valdez Scantling, you know who was dressed out for Kansas City last Sunday, don't you? Is old Alston Ryder.
Of course, man. Got to play next to that guy. Sent him a text message, and man, that's his second championship there.
He got two rings.
Got the first one as the starter, and then he's the second behind a pretty good center out there. But man, what an accomplishment! I'm honored to have been next to him and be in the trenches with him. And that guy, he can go. He's one of the best technicians in the game of football. Always that undersized guy. But man, his technique was flawless and just a amazing mind for the game. So I'm, that's one of the staples or feathers in my cap is getting to tell everybody that I got to play next to Alston, and man, I'm so happy for his success and winning a championship. So, Alston, if you're out there, you listen to this, baby, proud of you.
Hey, by the way, Jarvis, have you ever met his dad? Coach's dad. All right. First of all, that guy's one of the greatest football players in West Virginia history, and that's where Thor gets his personality from. I've hung out a lot with Mr. Drazuak when Thor was playing at USF. He's one of my favorite people, so I'm glad he's around there, hanging around y'all's program. Jarvis, listen.
Hey, I got him listed as a senior advisor.
All right.
Senior advisor, baby.
As you know, fathers, they're always full of advice. So,
oh yeah.
I'm sure he's getting it. But hey, Jarvis, listen, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. I know you're getting hit up. I worked in the business for a long time, grew up in it. We know you're getting hit from all sides. So can't thank you and Coach Yazuak enough for taking a few minutes out of your day to visit with us. We will certainly be looking for you when you get on campus. And as Fish and I will tell you, obviously we work for a state that's connected, site that's connected to Florida State, but we'll be following your development no matter where you go. We think you're a tremendous prospect, and obviously really have enjoyed getting to know you a little bit and learning more about you. So we'll be following you. Wish you the best of luck in the recruiting process, and trust me, now that I've got your phone number, you'll hear from me more. But appreciate you putting up with us and kind of giving us some insight. Fish, you got anything?
No, I appreciate you coming on, Jordan, and also Coach Jordan. I'm going to hit you up on Twitter and stuff, but just follow us and stuff and keep in touch. Just keep us up to date to where your recruiting's going and stuff. I know you're getting hit up, like he said, from everybody. We don't like to do that pressure tactic stuff. We like to keep our relationship strong throughout. But good luck the rest of this year. You know, hopefully you take your team, bring them down here to South Florida next year. I think they have the state championships again down here, and good luck to Coach there. It seems like you're doing a great job.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having us.
All right, Thor, Jarvis, Fish, thank y'all for joining us on another edition of the Osceola's Reeling Them In Recruiting Roundup. Jarvis, look forward to catching up with you soon, my man. Thor, always a pleasure to catch up with you. It's been too long. And Fish, always appreciate you joining me for these things. But you guys have a great afternoon, and we will see you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Okay.